Okay, this book is called Christ as Satisfaction, The Reality of Sanctification, and it's by David Benjamin. It is available by ebook that you can download for free at christiansneedthegospel.com, or you can get the paperback and you can go to the website and it'll explain everything there. I think this is going to be awesome, and I pray it blesses you. And it is dedicated to the beaten sheep. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and do the last one, and then we'll start something new next Monday. So, last chapter, walking in the Spirit. What does it mean to walk according to the Spirit? It means to be filled with the Spirit, to drink of Jesus, and to be satisfied with the living water to quench your thirst. Amen. This is not just once and for all, but every day. Every day, I really need to drink of Jesus. God has different ways to remind me of him. He has a high priest for me. In my weakness, he's interceding for me. Amen. Sometimes brothers and sisters pray for me. There are means that God uses to bring you into contact with the living water and refresh you. Amen. But we want to be open to it. Unfortunately, commandment-keeping sanctification hardens your heart and keeps you close to it, strengthening the flesh. Amen. The flesh doesn't want living water. The flesh wants leeks and onions, or law righteousness. Amen. So we need to see that we're dead, and we need to be open to the way that God does things. We need to have a concept that Christ is satisfaction first and foremost, and that is what he wants to be. That is how he deals with the problems in me. Amen. The law can describe the problem, but not fix it. No commandment not to fornicate can take away the desire. Amen. You might not fornicate outwardly, but inwardly you will be condemned. Amen. You still need to come to Jesus. While you're enjoying the forgiveness of sins, why don't you ask him how to be satisfied with him to deal with the root? Amen. The root of the problem is that you're hungry and thirsty, and God doesn't condemn hunger and thirst. Amen. Moses didn't enter the good land because the people were hungry and thirsty. They complained, and Moses accused them of being rebellious. He hit the rock in anger. Because he did that, God told him he misrepresented him. He didn't get to enter the land because he labeled their hunger and thirst as rebellion. Numbers 20:10-12. Amen. We're created to be hungry and thirsty for the riches of the good land, but if we're not satisfied, we'll be hungry for other things as well. Amen. What we need is our thirst to be satisfied, and the water from the rock is what satisfies. Amen. We need Christ, and no one should call you rebellious or tell you that you're in sin because you struggle with different desires if you're not fulfilling them outwardly and living proudly in your sin. Amen. There's no reason to be condemning people. You need to minister life. We are beaten sheep on the way to the inn, and our Good Samaritan is going to put oil and wine in our wounds, nourish us with himself, and strengthen us. Amen. When I'm walking in the Spirit, there's no law against it, and the fruit is there. Amen. There is thanksgiving in my heart. Christ is making home in my heart. I've sanctified the Lord in my heart, and I'm ready to give an answer to whoever is asking me. Amen. I'm happy, and I've got joy and the peace, and my heart's a garden to the Lord. In those times, I'm still offending people. I'm still offending religious people. I don't adhere to their religious scruples. Amen. If you're not quenched in your hunger, and then you start adding the commandments of men to the commandments of God, I want to make sure they're really keeping the Sabbath. Let's tell them if they walk more than 40 feet, they're sinning. Let's tell them if they get vaccinated, they're sinning. There are so many people who want nothing more than to put burdens on you because they want to control you. Amen. They're not interested in satisfying your hunger and thirst. Amen. They don't even know what we're talking about. Amen. So when we talk about how Christ is real and he satisfies us and we're washed within by coming to the fountain, they say we are ungodly and teaching commandment breaking. So they want to do a bunch of teachings about how you better not be out there giving them license to sin. You're not promoting or applauding sin. I practice separation from people who proudly walk in sin and won't subject themselves to the word. If someone calls himself a brother who is a proud, boasting fornicator, we are not to fellowship with him. Amen. We don't eat with them so that he'll be ashamed, but we admonish him as a brother. Amen. We don't treat him as an enemy. Meanwhile, someone who is spiritual is eventually supposed to reach out to them and bear their burden and help and restore them. Amen. No one should ever be completely cut off, and a restored sinner can bear fruit. Amen. The adulterous woman bore fruit when she told everybody about Jesus, and you might think that's great work. No, it's a laughable work through the foolishness of preaching. Amen. He lets us partake of his labor, but he's the one who gives the increase. He's the one who dispenses his life, and he's the one who ultimately gains all of the people who are his reward. Amen. He is the one who becomes the head he's the one that becomes the head over their lives within them as their high priest. Works all things together for their good and shepherds them to glory. Amen. Anything we do is by his grace. I work more than they all, yet not I, but the grace of Christ with me. 1 Corinthians 15:10. Amen. We are just telling people about the comforts that we have received from God in our journey. That's our so-called quote-unquote work. I don't want to call it work. However, it does come with some suffering because it puts you at odds with everybody. Amen. So many people reject it, and then they want to accuse you of this and that. So there's suffering, and there's also a reward to make it all worth it. Amen. What really makes it worth it is Christ, who is my reward and my satisfaction in the midst of all of it. Amen. I have this joy of Christ in me. He visits me, strengthens me, leads me in the path of righteousness, leads me beside the still waters, and shepherds me. He takes care of me. Amen. 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 This was such a blessing to read. I pray it blessed you, and we'll see what comes next. Have a great day.